What's going on, everyone? We're back today with the latest installment of the Road to Top 10 series. We're going to be going over me playing a bunch of ranked matches today, specifically with a new build I've been kind of working on. It's not like a whole new build, it's more like a sort of refined, altered version of the KFC, the Kuraz field spell control deck that I showed off earlier. I did not forget about this series. Let's be clear. I've just been really busy, working on the series with Keegan. We're doing daily uploads on that, and I feel like if I'm going to be doing content on top of that, I just want it to be really chill stuff. That's not like grinding ranked. However, you, the audience, have failed to deliver us enough likes. Therefore, you're not getting another episode today. So I figured I'd do this. So this first match is actually showing off a kind of prototype of the build that I just sort of threw together and didn't test and jumped right into ranked matches with, which was probably a mistake. It did pretty poorly. The more optimized, fine-tuned version that I'm going to show off in the later matches definitely did better. But I figured this one match that I played in the Iron Man was really cool. So we're up against a Mega Lamp, who's a friend of mine actually. He's playing a debris Beast of the Pharaoh kind of zombie deck, which is really cool. So I'm going to go first. I have a nice strong opening with just Titanial. So I go summon the Sangan. I don't think he's on Raikou, so I just hit in. It turns out to be Spirit Reaper. He's just set passing right now. He wants to field nuke me with Debris, I guess. Which he's going to try to do. No, wait, he just goes Ancient Fairy. Alright, he decides it's not worth it here because I have too many floaters, I guess. So he just kind of walls up. I think he used AFD effect to summon Goblin Zombie in main 2. Maybe he's playing a little too passively here, I don't know. But yeah, we're just going to hit into stuff. I make a little mistake here. I think Tribute summoning this in main 2 was probably wrong, because then if he has another Debris, I actually get super punished by that field nuke, because he would get to Debris back the Beast of the Pharaoh and then hit in with Reaper and stuff, and that would really suck. So maybe a little bit of mistake, but I don't get punished. He doesn't have the second Beast of the Pharaoh. He just makes Catastor and hits in. Catastor, kind of the bane of this deck's existence. I mean, unlike regular Ancient Gear decks, you actually do play a lot of outs, but still, a big part of our game plan is summoning these big, just beaters that Catastor deals with, so. However, I have the pesky boy that I searched. I'm going to be able to out this and out his other monster. So at this point, I'm just ahead on card advantage, and I'm trying to force him to make a play, which he does. Hits over my guy. I draw, I'm just alright, back to the hand, buddy. And I decide to end phase pitch the Dandelion because I don't want to commit any of my spell traps to the field. I'm afraid of Heavy, I'm afraid of Black Rose. So he goes Zombie Master. I finally flipped the Storm, which it's been sitting here useless all game because he hasn't drawn any back row. So I'm just going to go for the Gear Dragon and bring down the pesky boy once again, and we're just going to hit in. The Trag's really good, or the Garden's really good here because he does have the Tragodia. I suspected that he had something like this because he wasn't setting. So I get a token. The Trag's permanently at 12. That's nice. Just going to set a couple. I decided to blind space. This was a bit of a risky play, but it panned out really well for me. So we can use Garden to just get a body to swing over for 22 every turn and just keep bouncing his other stuff. So yeah, that's really nice. As you can see, I'm setting up the right tokens here. He does have the out, so he's going to be able to storm my Garden and just get over my stuff with Caius. I draw Foolish. This was a card that eventually gets cut because it kind of just feels like it's really good in some hands, but then it's just really dead a lot of the time. And I ended up cutting the Plague out as well, so it's just Foolish with just Dandy, and I've kind of slimmed down the build, so I'm on fewer Debris and stuff now. I'm going to show off the finalized build eventually. I'm thinking of doing an in-paper deck list for it, since I am able to do those kinds of videos now. So I think that would be a cool thing to do. I'm just waiting on one card in the mail, which you're probably going to see that one card in this video. It's a pretty spicy tech. So here I drop the Trag. I'm just I probably have game no matter what he hits, as long as he doesn't have any more back row. And yeah, I ripped the Avarice, which is crazy. I really like this one Avarice in here. This build I've had, it slims down kind of on the payoff type of cards in the engine because they're a bit bricky. So I feel like we need a few more forms of recursion just to avoid like running out of gas a little bit. And avarice is like a really good one. I really like the ratio of like 1 avarice in here. I think it's pretty strong. So yeah, we're just gonna pesky boy his guy back. He goes in for 12. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna steal his dude. So at this point, it's looking really good for me. I'm getting in big damage. I was hoping to bait the Phoenix Wing there. Unfortunately, I was not able to. So we go for the Kuraz play. Unfortunately, we draw a Gear Dragon. And the other one's going to get Phoenix Winged. I play really badly into Heavy Storm here. This was probably the play that lost me this game. If I had just kept that Phoenix Wing in my hand, like, I'd have been golden, I think. But, you know, sometimes they have it, sometimes they don't. And, you know, in certain situations, it would be better to set the Phoenix Wing there, so. We draw back into our Gear Dragon, which is dead, so. We're just kind of trying to keep tempo with Grand Mole, but falling behind because our hand is really bad. And then we get Dust Shooted on top of that. I think he's forced to take the Pesky Boy here, so I set the Minefield Driller. He thinks it's a Debris Dragon. He knows I have the Solemn. I maybe should have Solemn the Diva. I probably should have Solemn the Diva. Yeah, actually. What is this face down? Okay, well, I would have at least done some damage if I'd Solemn the Diva. Instead, it just eats this attack. Would this have ended up mattering, actually? I don't think I get him low enough for this to have ended up mattering. Maybe I do. I feel like there were some turns here where I could have, like, won the game. Or come close to winning the game. But I couldn't because he just had a little too much life. Like, here. Like, this is straight up game, right? If I had just done 15 more, he'd be on 2k. Yeah. I could just go Black Rose and hit over for 7 and hit him. Yeah. Well, now I'm feeling really stupid. Yeah, that was a potentially an even bigger misplay than, like, the getting 50-50'd on the Storm earlier. This was probably worse. How do I even end up losing this? I feel like I'm in a good spot. He lives on 100. Okay, yeah, absolutely. Not solving the Diva was the worst play of this game, I think. In retrospect. I didn't see that earlier. So yeah, I do this. But then he just has, like... Yeah, I should have... I maybe fired that call a little preemptively, too. But I think the original sin of this game was not Solemning the Diva. Like, I could have just won if I'd Solemn that Diva instead of just holding it for Goya. That was silly. So here, I kind of just want to set up my grave for the debris, like a Card Trooper. Goes Goblin Zombie, hits over. This is an awkward hand. Normally, you want to have a lot of field spell stuff, but once you get to, like, having 4 field spells in your hand, it's like, okay, this is maybe a little too much, you know? Oh my god, is the replay glitched? The replay is glitched. See, I have problems with this, and I'm, like, never able to fix it. I don't want to go back and start over, because I feel like it's just going to happen again. Like, whenever this happens, I go back, watch the replay, and up to this point, and it just happens again. So, let's just say this last game was really close, like as close as the game 2, and I end up narrowly losing. So, yeah. But anyway, really cool deck by Megalamp there. I'm definitely a fan of it. Bit different way of exploiting Beast of the Pharaoh, but definitely a cool way. So, very interesting. So now we're going to go into the ranked matches I played later with the updated, sort of more recent version of this list. I made a couple changes. I went back on upstarts. I think upstarts are really, 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 really insane in this deck. I think the fact, not even just the fact that it lets you get your combo pieces together, but also you can just kind of afford to play them in this deck because everything's like a 2-turn clock and the upstart doesn't really impact that, which means you can effectively play like 37 cards and then you've just got this like pile of staples as well. Like, this deck is staple city. There's tons of, like, you know, every good one-off is in here. So just being able to play the upstarts and just dig for answers to things is so beneficial. And if you're playing a deck in Edison that can afford to do that, then it's really, really good. The thing is, most decks just can't really afford to do it because the life point stuff matters so much, and giving them an extra turn matters so much. But like I said, in this deck, that's not really a problem. So here we're up against Value Turbo. This deck is kind of against Value Turbo, I'm not going to lie. Like, you both are just playing decks that, like, crap out big vanillas, but the vanillas you crap out are bigger and hit over their vanillas for free. So it's like, that's generally how the matchup feels. I take a risk here in not popping the back row, thinking maybe he wouldn't have set the oppression. And fortunately for me, he ended up setting the mirror rather than the oppression. So that could have been a whole different game, potentially. And yeah, this doesn't play into mirror at all because I can't even attack with this, so. He does have the Brain Kais to answer my board, which is really nice. So yeah, we drop the Tragodia. Here I play the Brain. I'm just like, yeah, I'm going to force the mirror if he has it, you know? And he does. So I'm cool with that. I set the Rat. And now I have the Pesky Boy. And his face downs are bottomless and oppression. I know there's no mirror, so I don't have to even vaguely worry about playing around it. So I can just like Pesky Boy him every turn. And I think that's just kind of how I win. Yeah, I think... yeah, he just gets Grand Mold every turn. And I draw the Dust Shoot on top of it, which... just kind of adding insult to injury here. So... game one's going to go my way because he just doesn't find a way to deal with this. Grand Mold's such an insane card. The fact that this build is on like the giant rat stuff, which I think is kind of good to begin with. We were already on like Trooper, Dandy, and stuff. And it's another way to get to Dandy for debris. And just playing this extra... okay, here's the tech card that I sort of referenced earlier. This is Minefield Driller, so let's just pause and read this. When this face card up card you control leaves the field and is still in your confusing old card text, if it leaves the field while you control it, basically, you can recur a field spell from your graveyard. So it's kind of interesting. There's not a lot of cards in Edison that just float from leaving the field. You know, there's like Ab Zero. It's like the only one that even really comes to mind. Now, it's true this card does miss timing, which kind of sucks, but it's still a really interesting kind of floater you can get into off Giant Rat. So I really like this Rat package in here, and it's, as I said, we kind of cut down on our payoff cards, so we need more ways to recur threats to avoid gassing out, and this is a way to help with that. And it's just like a floater that can get you back into your field spells. You can like go into it off Rat next turn, like Mausoleum, drop Kuraz, pop it. It won't miss timing, so then you'll get to draw, bring back a field spell. There's a lot of kind of interesting things this card can do as like a random one-off in the deck, and I really like having it. This card was actually like the inspiration for a lot of these changes I made. I felt like I needed more starters in general, and so being able to put in this sort of Rat package was just really nice, I think. And Grand Mole as well, just an insane card. It answers a lot of the threats that KFC couldn't really deal with before, or had trouble with, like Catastor's an annoying card, as I mentioned earlier, and you can just get rid of that with Mole. So anyway, moving on in the replay, he kind of plays it safe, just pokes in with Vayu. He's got this Gores that he wants to resolve, so he's not setting. So here, I just go in. I think I just attack. I'm trying to conserve information here and save my normal for main 2. So I set the Rat. He just sets one, again, trying to resolve this Gores. So I flip the Rat. I hit in, trying to play around Raikou, so hitting with the big one first. He has the Gores. Unfortunately, his Kais gets Psalmed, which this really screws over his play here, unfortunately. And now he's got all these back row in hand that he's been holding this whole time, but I just haven't established board, so kind of rough. He goes for Plague Play. I have the Crow. I mean, I still have Phoenix Wing. I go into Mole to get... yeah, it's over. So that's a bit of a rough break for him. But anyway, that was that match. We're going to be moving on to me getting a little bit of vengeance against James Ark. As you saw, he stole like 30 ELO from me the other day. Oh, man. That was a while ago, actually. That was like weeks ago. But anyway, he's playing X-Sabers this time, which is kind of interesting. I've never seen him play this before. I think this is probably the first time I've ever seen James playing X-Sabers. But apparently he's trying out new decks, so that's interesting. I'm going first. I just kind of open the nuts and sack him in game 1. I'm going to be honest. I mean, Solemn Dust Shoot. To be fair, Solemn Dust Shoot is like the James Ark classic, so maybe he's got it coming, you know. I thought about putting back the Raikou, but ultimately I decided the big threat was really the what's it called? Fall Troll, yeah. Okay, so here I just get... I know that's Raikou, so I'm like, we're going to get Titanium, we've got the Dandy out, we can just negate. We have a Judgment still, we have Big Beaters, we have a Gear Town in play, we have Card Trooper in hand. We're in such a good spot. We know his whole hand, it's not much. I consider Solemning this summon, but I decided to wait for him to just clear my tokens, go for Black Rose. Maybe I shouldn't have. Like, if I just saw him to summon this Book of Moon, wouldn't have been able to buy him one more turn. So I guess that could be a mistake, but yeah, I'm playing it kind of safe here. But there's just no way I'm losing with an opening like that going first. It was just kind of not fair. So yeah, but you know, that's just Yu-Gi-Oh. So we're going second. I'm really iffy on bringing in Crow against Sabers, and this game kind of demonstrates why. It was just really bad. I did make like a misplay, I think, at some point in this game, but I'm not really sure it would have mattered. I think we were just down bad because our hand's kind of awkward. And yeah, he's got the side red answer, our Gear Dragon, which is rough. The only thing kind of keeping us in it is we have this garden. But yeah, he sets everything. We go... I'm not sure if I should have done that. Okay, I just want to get over this, I guess. That's interesting. I guess I felt like I had to do something there. But yeah. See, here I blind dust to like try to hit a Trapstone or 7 tools or something. I don't really know if he's even on that stuff. And then this is the misplay. I Crow in response to the call that he chains. I probably should have just held this and then Phoenix Winged his Hyunlei on summon, and then I could have been like walled behind this Gear Dragon and maybe tried to draw. But he's got like Cat and just a bunch more cards than me, so that game just kind of felt lost from the jump here. This is the only vaguely close one in this match, I think. So I go first. His hand is... Whoa, he had Cat Faltrel. Yo. I mean, I guess he's scared of Torrential and stuff. And it's probably fine to play around the back row when you don't have an answer. But he could have just blown me out there, honestly. Oof, that would have been bad. That would have been not good. So, yeah, we go Garden. We summon a bunch of guys. Pretty standard play. Garden is such a sick card in this deck. Just great at stopping your opponent from clapping you back. So, yeah, his whole Cat Faltrel play kind of gets biffed here. He ends up just making Cataster, and, like, I was at first worried that he would clog my field, which he kind of could have done here with the Faltrel if he really wanted. But I guess he opted for this instead and just make a Cataster, because Cataster's really good against my deck, and he clearly identified that fact. So here, I just decided to draw some cards. Oh no, wait, I out the Cataster, because I'm like, I gotta get rid of this shit. This card's gonna ruin me, I don't have an out. So I just hit over the token, lots of damage. I have the set call, I have the Brain in hand, and he's kind of low, so I'm feeling really good. I attack with the token, and he chains this, so I just kind of let my guy die. Here is a turn where, okay, I end phase pop both his back row, because I think I'm going to be able to go for game next turn. And I'm just, like, unable to find the line here. I mean, Judgment's a nice card, it didn't really help, but I feel like there should have been some line with, like, Garden or Brain Con summoning. I don't know. I sat and analyzed it for a while. I took a long time thinking on this turn. I just couldn't. My brain is too small to figure this out. My brain is probably too small to play this deck to begin with, let's be honest. So I opt for this. I draw some cards with Kuraz. I find MST to out the Cataster, which is attached to the Call of the Haunted, so then I just go in for 15. I've set Judgment. I'm like, okay, maybe this will be enough. And he's on 5 monsters, so, I mean, it's kind of just enough, you know. I just let this go because I know I have brain control for game. And yeah, that's just going to be it. So, yeah. That was a match, and I think we got one more. Yeah, against Teltat. So, he is playing Lightsworn, if I remember. We won RPS again. We were on a roll with RPS today. Even in the games we lost, we were winning RPS. So, that's unusual for me. I was kind of hoping to find some defense with these upstarts, but no luck. However, his hand is not great. I decided to do this. I was like trying to deliberate between doing nothing and summoning a Gear Dragon, and ultimately what it came down to is I decided, like, I've got the Titanium out, so like BrainCon is not going to be live, and I just don't want to draw this thing, so let's just get it out of my deck right now. It ends up being the right choice because he's on a hand of all monsters. So we're just going to hit in. The Hamster's going to protect him. We do negate the Raikou, which stops him from getting mills. So main phase 2, we go for this play, which is great. It lets us dig for Dust Shoot. I think, yeah, I end up flipping the Dust Shoot immediately during my turn because I don't want it to get Raikou, of course. Here I'm kind of thinking, I think I just end up playing this game pretty low commitment, and it ends up working out. I'm just like, he's on 10k life. I mean, it's gonna be a hot minute before I can kill him. And Lightsworn, it's kind of a deck where you don't want to blow all your stuff. They have like Gorge Trag. They have a lot of stuff to punish you on the clapback. Lots of mass removal. So I just decide, you know what? I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna hold my debris. I'm gonna hold my Gear Towns. So hits over the Minefield Driller, which I kind of hard drew. But it's alright. Lightsworn doesn't have a lot of great ways to out this, so just committing to the field means it's going to float into another Gear Town, going to float into another Gear Dragon effectively. We have the Trag here, which is also really nice. I need to out these because I know he's got Celestias from the Dust Shoot. So I'm like, alright, there's no Gardna. I know the Gardna's in his hand, and he didn't mill it, so just going to hit over his stuff. Again, just playing very low commitment here. I know his hand's bricked. I think I use this Terraforming because I'm like, alright, at this point, 3 field spells is good. I do not need to draw more. So I just commit 1 Gear Dragon here, and I'm like, alright, we can do some big damage, and then next turn we're killing him, right? Next turn we're killing him no matter what, and that ends up being the case. He has a Torrential. We just kind of brain to take it because I decide that debris is the more important resource to conserve, which is probably right. But yeah, we just have game here. We just have game, so all good, all good. Game 2. Our hand is not great. Crow is nice. I think this card's really good against Lightsworn. Probably underrated. Like in the X-Saber matchup, it didn't do jack, but in this matchup against Lightsworn, I think it's pretty good. So here we just go Dandy. We get lucky. It turns out to be the Raikou, so nice break for us. Once again, his hand's not great. I'm kind of confused as to why he sarked the JD here. I'm going to assume that he just drew this. I wasn't paying close attention, but like in a hand like this, I'd be sarking for charge or recharge probably. But I'm not a Lightsworn player. I don't really. Maybe I just don't get it. I don't know. Again, I hard draw the Minefield Driller, and again, I'm like, all right, we're just summoning it then. If they run it over, I get a Gear Town, so get another free Gear Dragon. Here he gets the JD. The JD is not live though. He stacks for Plague. I'm like, okay, I have the Crow. Maybe I got baited here a little. I kind of did. But it's like he could have made Catastor. And how am I outing Catastor with this hand? So I think it was definitely the safer play to just get rid of the play. So here he's got the Wolf Mill and killing my other Gear Dragon. I'm like, I kind of want to get over this just to play around Celestia. So I space my Gear 10 in battle phase, hit over, pray for no Honest, and it turns out there is no Honest. So we get in. Here he draws Recharge, which is absolutely amazing. He also draws Oppression, which is amazing. So he's going to ram in the Jane, and now he's got the JD live. Now I'm in trouble because all of my stuff has been cleared. We get to recur 1 Gear Town. That's nice. Here we just draw Sangan. Not the worst. I'm like, maybe I can bait him into JDing, and he actually does do it. So this was really good, the fact that he JD'd here. Killed his own Oppression, which he had set, and lets me get a free search. So here, I just threaten Black Rose. He Torrentials me, which... Was that even correct? I mean, it's the same end result, and now I can just threaten Black Rose again next time I see debris. So I figure with set call, I'm in a great spot, but then he has the second JD, and I'm like, shoot. I think a lot on this, and I'm like, alright, there's no way he can kill me. I can survive with Trag, so I should just get Sangan, go debris. It's the play that gives me the most options. So I do end up dropping the Trag. Just the reason I drop it here rather than to avoid damage is because I can turn it level 3, which means I can make a debris play where my Gear Town, or I can go Black Rose, and my Gear Town won't miss timing because I can go 7 with the Tragodia, and then I'll be able to get a free Gear Dragon and pop the field and just hit in. So I'll be in a really good spot. He will have the Necro Gardener to survive, but still. But then I just draw a field spell anyway, so I'm like, alright, well, we'll just do it the old-fashioned way. So we hit in, he's got Gardna, his charge, like, even if he had a Lightsworn left in deck, which I don't think he ends up having, he would still just deck out, so. Yeah, that's going to be the end of that game. So those were all of the matches. Like I said, I played a couple more with the prototype version, they all went relatively poorly. Maybe I didn't play perfectly, but I don't think it's a coincidence that my sort of post adjustment version went 3-0 and the pre-adjustment, like just fresh out of the laboratory testing version, went 0-3. So yeah, those were some interesting games. Look out for that deck profile on this. I'll probably try to get it up as soon as I get the cards to make it. So there'll definitely be shiny cardboard featured, and look out for the next episode of Meta Breakers. It should be coming up on my channel probably tomorrow, I would assume. So yeah, anyway, that's going to be it, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and peace out.